Hello and a very warm welcome to ET Studio CFO Blueprint in association with ET CFO. I'm your host Divina Lasson, and on this series, we're thrilled to bring you conversations with India's leading CFOs to help us get unique insights about the journey of the modern CFO. Now, CFOs shape business strategy by leveraging their financial expertise to inform decision-making, to manage risks, optimize costs, and of course, align financial goals with broader organizational objectives. Their involvement in strategic decisions ensures that financial considerations are integral to the overall business strategy. And so on this episode, we're here to discuss setting the business tone. How can CFOs shape strategy? Here to help us deep dive into this and so much more, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome a very esteemed guest today, Sanjay Agarwal, CFO, Jyothy Labs Ltd. Sanjay, welcome. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here today, and thank you for joining ET CFO Blueprint.
Thank you, Devina, and thank you for inviting us and having a discussion today.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, we're here to talk about a very interesting and important subject. So let's get right into it.
Sure.
At the onset, if you can help us lay the foundation to understand, in your opinion, in your vast experience so far, what would you say is the role of the CFO when it comes to really setting and keeping in mind the overall business objective in organizations? It's an aspect that maybe it's a little bit beyond what people think of when it comes to the role of the CFO.
Correct. The role of CFO has been changing from what it used to be a few decades back and what it is today.
Yes.
The responsibility has immensely changed. And one of the things which has become very important for a CFO is it has become dual now. It's not only to capture the value, but it is also to create the value.
Yes.
And hence, the person plays a very important role in the strategy of the organization and meet the objectives of the organization in that manner.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So are there any specific strategies, again, that you can share in your experience that have really worked when it comes to keeping up a very positive business approach to the organization at large as the CFO?
See, the positive approach, there's a quote from Peter Drucker which says that culture eats strategy for breakfast. And so there's always a very important human element in the entire organization. And your strategy needs to be aligned with the culture.
Yeah.
And what is required from every member of the organization is to have a team which works together.
Absolutely.
And hence, every business objective or strategy then plays very well in that situation.
Yeah. So, in order to keep your team together, as you've said, what role would you say communication plays? Because as a CFO, you are obviously dealing with stakeholders across the board in the organization. So, what role does effective communication play in keeping this kind of cohesiveness across the board?
See, communication is everything because whatever a team is doing, every bad news can also be presented in a positive manner.
Yeah.
And sometimes even a positive news also goes in a wrong or a bad manner. Yeah. So communication is very important. It is a very important aspect for today's DNA of CFOs to manage that very well. And with the compliances and the expectation from the stakeholders, it becomes a very important aspect.
Yeah. Any example you can share where you as the CFO, as the leader, have effectively communicated something challenging to your team?
So I think COVID was a classic example where we all were sitting at home, the business was being operated from home. And I think those times where it became far more important for every one of us in every profession, every team to communicate well so that we all are cohesive and the optimism is there to run the business and the show has to go on.
So speaking of challenges then, can you help us understand what are the biggest challenges that you face as a CFO and really creating again that foolproof business strategy within the organization? Some of the big challenges that you face and how you tackle them.
See, first of all, there is no foolproof strategy.
Yeah.
The strategies will need to keep evolving. The only thing I would say to you is the decision making should not stop.
Yeah.
Because you will have to keep revising it. You have to be agile. But decision making needs to be there. You have to keep experimenting it. Also, an important aspect when it comes to the CFO or the finance team is hope they have a full big picture of the strategy.
Yes.
Because sometimes they may not have a full big picture and their contribution can become little difficult in that situation. So that is my first thing. Second is the finance team should know the business very well. I would always recommend every finance person to know each and every lever of the business. Go and meet your clients, your customers, your vendors, so that they understand, they know the reality.
Yes.
Otherwise, sitting back in the office, they would not even know what your purchase team is talking or your marketing team is talking about. So knowing the business is most important. I think then you can really add value in this whole process.
Yeah.
So knowing the business is important, and communicating it well with the entire team. So I think those are the challenges which sometimes you face when you don't know the full picture and you're not able to add value.
Yeah. You know, as you mentioned, point number one, it's so integral, right? Agility. So how do you as a CFO really keep this culture of agility within your team?
So, see, it is, again, it goes back to the culture. And culture can always be led by the team leader. But it is also how the whole team works together. And I always give an example to everybody that the finance team, like in cricket, in the cricket field, the wicket keeper gets the best view of the entire field. So same way, the finance team, the CFO has a best view of the entire business. And like how you would always see a captain coming and consulting the wicket keeper on, how the layout of the field and everything. So the same way it happens in the business. And hence it is important that there is that cohesiveness in the entire team. And everybody then can contribute. And it is not only that the finance team can only contribute in the strategy. In a business setup, each and every member is important and can pivot the organization to a healthy whatever situation. So it is all about a common goal and a common mission, and one needs to work together. I think that's very important. And challenges will come and strategies will fail, but it is how you come back.
Yes, sure. So then the agility aspect kicks in when every single team member has this mindset, like you're saying, and this culture of being flexible according to the situation. Correct.
I mean, just to give you an ad, can anybody work without working hard? Similarly, finance function cuts across the entire organization. And hence, if they are able to work together, then the whole organization, accelerates in a different speed.
Great. Thanks for that analogy. That's wonderful to understand. So, Sanjay, when it comes to CFOs and the role of a CFO, especially keeping in mind a business objective, one automatically thinks of cost cutting, right? That as being a central part of what you and your team does. So, how do you strike a balance between cost cutting measures, but also keeping in mind long-term and strategic investments for the benefit of the organization?
So, I don't like the word cost cutting. It should be cost optimization.
Great,
and I think all of us have learned it very well during COVID time when everybody wanted to bring down their cost structures. It was, cost cutting will never help you anything. It has to be cost optimization, because cost cutting, you will do it for today. It will not, it will work, but it will not work for long term. So cost optimization is the most important thing. And one has to see which cost is good cost. And like in our business, marketing spends and all is a good cost. And one should not cut it down for short-term objectives. So similarly, the CFO or the finance team needs to understand what is the long-term objectives, how we can get long-term growth. And India is we are growing at a very good speed in India. So there should not be the mindset. In fact, always I would say that the finance team and the CFO should lead with a business mindset, a business person or a businessman or a businesswoman. Because unless they think business, they will not be able to add value to the entire organization. And once they are like that, then it becomes easier for the other teams also to reach out to you for solutions. And you need to up your positioning in the organization where people feel comfortable discussing with you and looking for solutions from you.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you keep mentioning, decision making is really at the heart of what you do, and you have to keep moving forward with that. So what role does capital allocation play when it comes to your decision making process? And again, just making sure that everything is moving as per the big picture goal from the business strategy point of view.
Absolutely. I think it's a very good question. See, I would say any other work, CFOs can definitely delegate or work with others.
Yeah.
But capital allocation, I would say, is the most important responsibility. And I'm using the word most important responsibility because a lot of organizations make or break with a inefficient capital allocation. And this is something the CFO should lead in capital allocation, and sometimes you have to take those tough decisions. You have to guide the management and the whole business teams to do that, but that is the single most important responsibility I would say CFOs should play in capital allocation. How do you do that? Because that's the question which comes around that. Again, I'll give you a simple analogy. CFOs finance team should have 4 good senses. The first one I would say is eyes. That nothing should miss their eye, right? Especially the cash flows.
Yes, of course.
That is first. The second is ears. They should be able to hear everything which the organization is seeing or is moving around. They should speak less and hear more. So as the saying is, one should keep their eyes and ears open. So I think that is important.
Great.
On the lighter side, I would say you should also have your nose. You should be able to smell everything around. And the last one is the mouth. Again, you should speak less. And to your point, they should communicate very well. Why am I saying all this thing is basically to the point of communication, the point of capital allocation, because if you know all these things, your capital allocation, the principles which you follow in capital allocation will always be very sound. So these are the things which you need to be keeping in mind. And also the CFO should be most accessible to everybody. Because then is when you will know the real challenges in the business, and you'll be able to do a right capital allocation.
Yes, fantastic. Thank you for that analogy. That really sets a very clear, vivid picture of the approach of a CFO. And to sort of bring all of this together, Sanjay, you've given us such valuable input on what it means to be a CFO. How do you approach the overall business strategy of the organization? Can you share an anecdote from your career that really kind of exemplifies all this that you've shared today? Your role as a CFO and how it enhanced the business strategy in your organization?
There will be many examples like that.
I'm sure.
But something which you are saying becomes difficult conversations. In our situation, we had at Jyothy, we had risk management is most important.
Of course,
so we had a LAS at the promoter level, and we could trim it down at the right time, which is a difficult discussion. And during COVID times, we really benefited from that tough decision, which we all could get it done. So I think these are the tough conversations, tough decisions, but it helps in the long run, is where the CFO should play an important role, being in line with the board objectives, in line with the all stakeholders' values. I think that is where the CFO should play a very important role, and these days they have become very important for the board as well.
So how do you kind of keep your communication skills effective, efficient, still at the same time, I guess, at ease for the sake of your team? What's your secret recipe for that?
I think just be very simple. And what you what you do is what you speak, and that is what you write. So there's nothing which you have to hard remember every time. I think it has to be very, very simple, and because if you have done wrong, if there's a bad message, do communicate it upfront. And if there's something good, I mean, anyway, that will get reached out. So it has to be simple and no complex things. And people love, they also don't have too much time to, there are so many companies in India, and being listed companies, it becomes far more important to be transparent and simple.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. As we slowly come to a close, Sanjay, just quickly your future perspective now. How do you, for example, see the FMCG sector faring in 24? Just any tips or insights that you could share?
See, India is doing very well. Per capita consumption of any of the FMCG products is very low. So we all have a good runway. The government is doing their bit in increasing the per capita. So we are all benefiting out of that. So yeah, it's a good industry to be in, and we are doing our best in that case.
Sure, okay. And as we're coming on the budget, any expectations you have from the government?
So this budget is going to be an interim budget because we have an upcoming elections coming. But I think the PM, one should just thank PM and FM for having a very positive business environment. But yeah, I mean, they'll mange more, so we will definitely have a lot more expectations, and they will not disappoint us.
Okay, fantastic. Well, that's a very positive outlook. Thank you so much, Sanjay. Before we wrap up, I have a quick kind of request and maybe surprise element of the show. If this works for you, we'd love to get to know you as a leader, both in the boardroom and out of the boardroom. And to do this, we have a rapid fire round, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
Yeah, so just a few questions, just a quick answer, whatever comes to you instinctively. All right? Great.
I'll try.
Okay, great. It will be fun. Okay, so first up, if you could describe your approach to finance in one word, what would that be?
Analytics.
Analytics, okay, great. And if you were not a CFO, then what would you have been?
See, I mean, finance, I'm a Marwari guy. Finance runs into my blood. If not finance, then I would have been a chemical engineer.
Okay, quite different.
Yes.
All right. What's the most unexpected skill or hobby that you have that helps you in your role of a CFO?
I think meeting people.
Okay.
I love meeting people. I love socializing. And I think that has really helped me what I am today. It helps immensely in the work which I do. And that's a de-stressor for me.
Great.
So it works very well. While you're at work, you're doing 100% of work. While you want to de-stress, you meet a lot of people. I like mentoring startups, doing as much social work I can do. So I think that gives you a different perspective in life, which helps in the day-to-day business as well.
Yeah, fantastic. The communication aspect that we've been talking about so much. Okay, great, beautiful. If finance were a superhero, what superpower would it have?
What superpower would it have? See, as I was saying, finance is the heart of the organization. So you need to be sharp. You need to be fit, like how you want your heart to be fit. I would say that the finance function should be run super efficient, because then you can expect all other divisions to be doing well. So yeah, my expectation from my team and for me personally is to be super efficient in the work what we are doing, and the data. Is there, but the analysis which we do out of that data should help everyone, all the stakeholders, in analyzing or taking their business decisions. So that is, I think, the superpower which you can create from finance.
Yeah, superpower of efficiency. I love that. Okay. Your favorite pastime when you're not working?
I think one is pastime is meeting people and socializing. That's there. Otherwise, catch up on your sleep.
Okay, sure. Being well rested, that's really important as a leader. Yeah, absolutely. If you were to write a book, what would it be about?
It takes a village to raise a child, right?
Wow, yes.
Therefore, I would like to write a book which gives the importance of a village in raising a human being.
Wow.
And we should respect and we should recognize the people who have come along with us in our journey. So I think somewhere I have lots of those anecdotes in my mind, and maybe one day I'll pen it down.
Wonderful. Looking forward to that.
Yeah,
What a deep thought you have. Beautiful. Okay. If you had to choose a famous personality to be your financial advisor, who would that be?
Okay. So obviously, in the personal life, my mom herself.
Okay.
Yeah, because we've learned a lot from her, even till date.
Wow.
Then, in the financial world, you obviously have Warren Buffett, you obviously have people like Dhirubhai who taught India how to, being capital efficient and raise capital.
Yeah. Your mom, I mean, that's great. It shows just how much it's literally in your blood since you've been
She has raised us with a lot of awareness about what is value of money.
Yeah.
She herself a doctorate in economics, but
Awesome.
so we have learned a lot, and I think the value of money is taught by the parents.
Yes.
So again, we should respect that.
Yeah. Wow, great.
Because then only you can respect the organization money.
Yeah. Right.
And there, that money is of all the stakeholders or the shareholders in that manner.
Yes.
So one needs to be very, very vigilant and responsible for that.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
Super.
Much more than your own money.
Yeah. Of course, especially as a CFO.
Yes.
Yes, great. Okay. What's the weirdest financial term or jargon that you've had to explain to someone not from the finance world?
I think if you keep it simple, then everybody understands that. So it is nothing like a complex financial jargon. I don't think so. I think I make it simplified.
Yeah.
Anything which I need to talk to a non-finance team. So I don't think so there is any word which comes to me they have not been able to understand. And
Simplicity.
yes, simplicity, correct.
Great. Okay. What is the most innovative financial tool or technology that you've come across in recent times?
I think there's a lot of digital way of running the finance function.
Yeah.
So you have the robotic process automations, RPAs, and you have the bots. I think those are the tools which have become much more accessible to finance team in doing some of the mundane jobs. One should eliminate that through the technology, and a lot of BI tools, business intelligence tools, have come in to analyze the data.
Yes.
I think one should pivot to that and become more efficient.
Great, perfect.
Yeah.
And finally, before we wrap up, one reason why you love finance?
Again, as I said, it runs in the blood, but see, finance is one area through which you can read a lot of trends. You can identify issues, and also you get solutions from those finance data. So when you're running a business, it becomes a best friend of yours, or the tool to solve the problem, to grow. So I think that is what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic, Sanjay. Thank you so much. You were great with this.
Thank you very much, and look forward.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show with us.
Thank you very much, Devina.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, on that note, that's all we have for you on this power-packed episode of ET Studio CFO Blueprint in association with ET CFO. But do stay tuned for more in-depth conversations like this, where we chat with India's leading CFOs who inspire us with their success stories, their leadership and insights. Until next time, many thanks for watching.